Okay, welcome back. It's a Money Monday on Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. We're at the Liquid Lunch studios in downtown Manhattan. And boy, are we lucky that we moved down here. Because when we need money guests on Money Monday, this guy's always here for us. Joining us today, criminal defense attorney Jeffrey Lichtman, social critic, former radio commentator, and friend of the show.
Thank you for having me.
Down. So I know you have a long and storied history of being angry at, terrorists or radical Islamic terrorists. And now we have this shooting on the Navy base. And again, the big problem happening in America is perpetrated by Saudis.
Well, John, it's the end of 2019. Over 18 years ago, a bunch of Saudi young men came here, learned how to fly, used our freedoms to then kill 3,000 Americans. We're now decades later. And what have we learned? We've learned absolutely nothing. We have Saudis again that we're inviting to our country, teaching them how to fly. What are they here for? And what do? They kill Americans. So what we've done is, how many more Americans, I would ask you this, how many more Americans have to die on the altar of political correctness? That we have to show that we're, not anti-Islam, that we're willing to take them all in. Listen, with all respect, I'm more concerned about American safety than our liberal bona fides, establishing them. It's ridiculous that this happened. And the fact that this happened on a naval base. I was speaking to a Navy SEAL today from New Jersey, of all places, God bless him, and he was aghast at this. I mean, this is absolutely imbecilic that this is happening, and I don't think we've learned anything since 9/11.
How about Trump was screaming and yelling about the Democratic administrations preceding him that they wouldn't say radical Islamic terrorists, and now I haven't heard him say it yet.
He's the strangest guy, John. When you want him to do what he should obviously be doing, this is a layup. What he should be saying is, why isn't Rashida Tlaib, why isn't Ilhan Omar, all they're talking about is the poor Palestinians. Why aren't they talking about the Saudis, the terrorists that are running around free right now? They're free. We don't know where they are. They were taking videos of this attack. They are free. They are free and wandering amongst us. And there's not even an outrage. Now, we know that there's no outrage in the media because the media is a tool of radical Islam / liberalism, and they are hand in glove. And this should be another wake-up call to anybody who's nauseated by Trump, thinks he's an idiot, which is many, many people, including myself. Hey, you know what the choice is? You either vote for Trump and have at least a chance of stopping this sort of Islamic savagery in America, or you vote for Elizabeth Warren, and guess what? Floodgates open.
Jeff, it's amazing to me, and I've said this repeatedly, that it doesn't seem to matter who the president is, but they love to literally bow to the Saudi princes and to the king. But just to play devil's advocate, you are probably the world, certainly the United States' fiercest critic of Iran, and all the mullahs in Iran. And a lot of the people that say the reason we need to prop up Saudi Arabia, provide things like armaments and training, is that we need to do it as a counterweight to Iran for this Middle East Sunni versus Shia Cold War that's enveloping the Middle East. What do you say to that argument?
Well, look, the truth is, I understand it. I mean, we can all appreciate that the Saudis are maniacs. Now, I don't think they're a Muslim terror state per se, because they're not doing the types of things that Iran has been doing to us. But their people are wildly radical. When you get force-fed anti-Semitism, anti-Western garbage since birth, this is what happens. You have a lunatic who's looking at beheading videos and talking about how much he hates Jews and the fact that America caters to Jews. We have to deal with the Saudis as a nation because they are a bulwark, at least we think, to Iran. The problem is that when they get attacked by Iran, as we saw a couple of months back, they don't do a damn thing. They've got this fancy air force. They've got this fancy armed forces.
They're doing a great job killing Yemeni civilians.
That's it. They don't use. It's all gathering dust. They don't use it to actually attack their enemy because they're afraid.
I'm not seeing anything that I don't remember. I could be wrong, but I'm not seeing any Iranian terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. Are you?
That's false. Absolutely. Remember what happened in D.C. a few years ago, that there was about to be an explosion in a restaurant by an Iranian national? Do you have any idea how many Iranians...
No, we probably thwart them. But
we
I'm saying,
thwarted them. Well, listen, just because they're not
the
successful...
successful
American body count.
Just because they're not successful doesn't mean that you just dismiss them.
But I'm saying, it seems like the Saudis are more successful than anyone.
The difference is that the Iranians that are being sent here are being sent by their leadership. The Saudis that are being sent here are just radical Islamists. It's a completely different thing. And the truth is also, if you knew how many Iranians have been arrested in America for trying to subvert and get around the sanctions in an effort to get them equipment, to get them arms, all sorts of things that can harm Americans, we shouldn't feel safe just because we've been able to thwart many of them. The fact is you get rid of Iran, you get rid of Iranian leadership that's in place right now, and the world completely changes. Hezbollah, Hamas, all of this disappears because the head of the snake is gone.
All right, so Jeff, lest anyone think that this was some just angry Air Force trainee or naval trainee and not someone who was actually radicalized, he actually put out a little mini manifesto where he's quoting Osama bin Laden, talking about how great America is at repressing Muslims. And one of the people that pointed out was Pete Hegseth, who's a commentator on a rival network. And in fact, let's put this up here, GFX5. He wanted to put up a little bit of this manifesto just to show that, yes, this was an Islamic extremist. His reward for that is he has been banned from Twitter. You cannot find that tweet on Twitter now. Now, is the biggest problem in the social media world really media commentators pointing out that Islamists are Islamists?
Of course not. But what you've got here is you've got a situation where the radical Islamics and the liberals / the media are hand in glove. Why are we pretending?
And the big tech companies.
Well, big tech is liberal media. Why are we pretending that they're anything but that? I mean, we can pretend that they're really Americans. They're not. They have one agenda, and that is the radical Islamic agenda. And look what happened with Corbyn, Jeremy Corbyn, who's about to become perhaps Prime Minister of England.
Yeah.
One of his major Facebook pages, pro-Corbyn pages, was being run by Hamas in the Gaza Strip. This is how they are hand in glove. And for the people, as I said, who don't want to necessarily get out of bed for Trump and vote in a year, guess what? You better do it, because the alternative is you can kiss America goodbye as you know it.
So is there any First Amendment or anything here, Jeff? I mean, like Peter, this is clearly a journalist, right? He's a newsman. He breaks some news. What ground? I guess it's a private platform, so Twitter can just say you're out?
That's it completely. It's a private platform, and they're allowed to do what they want. But the truth is, look, Trump has an opportunity to do something. He could look into this. There were many promises he made when he was running. Now, I understand that every candidate can't fulfill all of them. But he talked about going into the colleges and rooting out this leftist garbage, this radical Islam that has taken hold of nearly every college campus in the country, with the Muslim Student Alliance, with the Students for Justice in Palestine. There are Muslim terrorists that are running around hundreds of colleges in America. He promised he'd go in, he'd clean that up, hasn't lifted a finger. He said he would go into big tech and find out what's going on with the liberals, how they're squelching the free speech of conservatives. He hasn't done it. Instead, we're watching him tweet about the most idiotic things, and we only have a year left, John, and let me tell you, in a year, if he loses, we're done. Then what happens?
We're dead.
We're dead.
Well, the show is not dead. It's alive and kicking. It's going to get even better. Jeff, you're going to hang out with us for another segment.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Lichtman is going to hang with us. We're going to come back and get his insightful thoughts on what I call the hoax of an impeachment. We're looking at kabuki political theater at its best, folks. And we're going to break that all down after this on impeachment with Jeffrey Lichtman. Stay right there. More Liquid Lunch after this.